Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wicked Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Bowden. With me, as always, is Frank Gazzero
Yay! How you doing?
and Katie Arroyo,
Hello.
fresh off a fresh whiff of his armpit.
A fresh whiff
You know,
of fighting and
fresh whiff of
armpits.
fighting. We are fresh off a fight, everybody. Like we
I
had
woke up a sweat,
we,
man.
This Thursday on our Patreon, there's an episode
Wild.
called "The Wicked Funny Fight," and things get heated, and then we have somewhat of a rational conversation. And man,
And just so you guys know, we didn't plan that. We thought we were recording this episode full of Happy New Year's content, and then it turned into over an hour long of fighting.
It was really.
A peek behind the
I
curtain.
love discussions like that. I miss having them more. Like one of the things I liked about being in college is like all the debates you have about stuff all the time that
Yeah.
don't matter. Granted, this mattered, but like I miss that like the back and forth counterpoint stuff.
There goes Frank dismissing feelings again.
I mean, you guys, things happen. Frank told Brian how to feel. I told Brian how to behave.
Brian had a temper tantrum.
It's a lot. We all quit. We each quit at different points.
Yeah, we all quit the podcast at one point. And not much violence was threatened.
No.
Yeah, so
I don't think any, right?
No. The only violent thing I was going to say was in that moment that made me mad, and everybody can hear about it Thursday, is that I wanted to kill Frank. Like, in that moment,
but other than that,
if Frank was in front of me in that moment, I would have put my hands around his neck and watched the life leave his face. And if you want to hear about what is so significant that would make me want to physically kill Frank with my bare hands,
and me quit the podcast,
and Katie quit the podcast.
Katie was going to quit from afar.
Yeah.
At one
she was
point,
all stayed away, and she was just like, I don't know.
At one point, Katie turned into a fucking like a old grandma that just full of knowledge and just very direct about shit. So much going on, but here we are. Happening. We're starting 2022. This is it. This is 2022 now. Is that now?
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be
it's
soon.
Actually going to be. You guys are going to get this right before 2022.
All right.
Post Christmas. Your bellies are full.
Left.
Yeah.
You wearing all that new shit you got for Christmas. My parents are making a pile of all the things that I got them that they can save and never use.
That they don't want. They're looking for a closet right now to shove it in.
They are. My mom asked for a cordless phone, Katie. She asked for a cordless phone. I don't know how she's going to react. We're recording before Christmas. I was stressed out about what phone to get.
Of course you were.
Because I didn't know what would fit on the wall or if it needed to go on the wall in the kitchen, and it stressed me out. And I hope I got the right cordless phone. I'll let you guys know next year how it was.
What brand did you get?
Frank, I don't know. I don't know. I went on Amazon.
How do you even pick out a cordless phone?
I can look it up.
I don't know how can you make it a long thing?
Where do you find one?
I think you go to Amazon and just go cordless phone.
I went on Amazon. It was like phones, and I broke into a Radio Shack that was still kind of
I found one in an old Blockbuster video.
I went to a Salvation Army.
Because, I mean, we all have cordless phones in our pockets, don't we?
They all have a phone in their pocket. But the thing is, all my dad's doctors have the
landline.
Number. They have the landline. And
so weird.
My parents running up and down the fucking stairs to get the goddamn phone in the kitchen stresses me out. And they ask for
That's really
cordless
funny.
phone. So they better fucking use this. They better fucking reach out and touch it.
Now they're going to be running around the house looking for the phone.
I know, Frank. I know exactly what's going to happen with this shit. They're going to lose the goddamn phone. They're not going to know. They're going to call me. This is what's going to happen. It comes with like 4 different phones. They're going to call me and say, can each phone work on different chargers? They're going to ask me that.
Wait, so they have a wired phone right now?
They have a wired yes, Frank. Yes.
Where do you get one of those?
That's
like getting a Model T Ford.
You know where they got it? They still had it. They didn't get it. They still fucking had it, Frank.
What are you talking about, a landline?
We're talking about the landline.
With a wire.
With a wire. And the wire doesn't even stretch far. Like, you can't even go anywhere with it. My Auntie Marie. And by the way, as a fucking Christmas present to everybody, I have Auntie Marie's stuffing recipe. That was a fucking
Oh,
surprise.
you do?
I
Okay.
do.
You just
I
post
do.
it on the Patreon. We don't need
I
to go
will.
over the
I
ingredients
will.
right now.
We don't
We
have
don't?
to,
Okay.
but we
No.
will. No carrots, no celery. I'll fucking tell you that right now.
I don't know.
Um,
You're probably just whiting them out.
I didn't white shit out. She put it. And you know what's funny? My Auntie Marie went on my Facebook post. She goes, Brian, you need to call me. And then put her personal phone number on one of my Facebook
Oh
posts.
no.
Which is like, why would you do that? Like, do you know who fucking
'Cause she
follows
didn't
me on
know.
Facebook? They're all crazy people. And
She
then,
probably thought you were
I mean that in a
messaging.
good way. Yeah. And then I when I was at her house, I'm like, Auntie Marie, I go, I really need your stuffing recipe for the podcast. And she goes, okay, I'll text it to you. And then
Aw.
the next day, I get a Facebook notification underneath some random post that somebody shared, and it was the stuffing recipe. And there was no mention
love
of
it.
carrots.
That's
at all,
awesome.
or celery.
Hmm.
That's
But,
surprising.
I'm
anyway,
very
Auntie
surprised.
Marie's cord, she has a cord that fucking stretched all over the goddamn kitchen. All over the
Yeah.
kitchen. She used to burn the cord on the stove. It was a goddamn
Oh.
hassle. She needs a goddamn cordless phone. But
You should have gotten her one.
you know what? She's got a son. You know, Big Tony's got to do it, you know? So, I forgot
Wow.
what led me down the Auntie Marie Road and the my
Nobody
my parents
knows.
with the phone. Yeah, so yeah, they're it's gonna be something. So hopefully they enjoy the phone that I got them.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
it was. I was pausing for dramatic effect while I lit the blunt. And so, do you want to talk about
Okay.
New Year's first, Katie, or do you want to talk about the other thing first, Katie?
We
What would
can
you like
close
to
out
do?
with our New Year's resolutions.
All right, we'll close out with New Year's resolutions, and I will talk about this other thing, and that is we went to go see Spider-Man. Not we.
Okay.
I went to go see Spider-Man. Katie,
You went by yourself?
No, I went with my friend Nicole.
Okay, because Josh and I went before opening night.
Okay, how'd you get tickets to that?
Like supposedly it came out on Friday, but we saw it on Thursday.
Oh, the old Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, the old
Yeah.
Thursday bait and switch.
It was
in
me,
theaters everywhere
Josh.
Friday.
Yeah, me, Josh, and like a bunch of 25-year-olds men.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And Frank, you didn't leave the house. You did not
Nope.
see this movie. I'm
Nope.
not going to spoil the movie for anybody. We're not going to talk
Yeah.
about the movie. We're not going to talk about the movie at all.
No.
I will talk about the people in the goddamn movie theater
Okay.
that drove me fucking nuts.
Okay.
Katie,
Yeah.
did people cheer in your movie theater?
Yeah, and I was happy about it.
Why were you happy?
Because it felt nice.
Well, wait, like during like an explosion and people go yay, or like during dialogue?
No,
We're not
like
giving away
something would
spoilers, Frank.
happen. Like no spoilers, but something would happen and people would cheer. But they weren't ruining. You heard every word. Like the people that made this movie, I think, expected this sort of reaction. So they like built in these breaks almost. Not like long ones, but like there'd be a beat after something happened. It was like they knew that they were giving people
Okay.
time to react to it.
Yeah, if it doesn't fuck up your,
Not at
listening
all.
to the movie.
To me, it enhanced it. It was like heartwarming.
It did not enhance anything to me. Nothing was enhanced. That did not enhance me.
Of
If anything,
course,
it
we had
pissed me
two
off.
different reactions.
Oh wait, what?
Because
What is the story based? It's based on a comic book arc,
we're
right?
not giving
Do you know Spider-Man?
spoilers,
I'm
Frank.
familiar
We're
with some of the. It's not like Spider-Man Blue or something, is it?
It's like just literally the current Spider-Man. No, the current Spider-Man in the Marvel universe faces a challenge. And so as he faces the challenge, there's surprises and whatever. I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, people have already seen it, but whatever.
You just
No
described
spoilers.
every movie
There's
Yeah.
no-
that's
Well,
ever been made.
It's Tom Holland, and he faces a challenge and tries to overcome it. But in the meantime, there's all these like surprises, and the people in the audience were like eating it up. So it made me excited about it because they were so like into it.
You know what one of the
That's cool.
surprises was,
Yeah.
Frank? You
No.
know what one of the surprises was? It was me, Willem Dafoe, Frank. I was one of the surprises in the movie.
Were you really?
I was
Brian
there the
literally-
whole time.
Brian literally said no spoilers and then was like, spoiler.
I'm not Brian isn't spoiled. It's Willem. I'm here, the Green Goblin. I'm gonna spoil
Does
the
it-
whole fucking movie.
So this takes place. Oh, this is a whole new timeline from the Tobey Maguire ones, right?
It's the same.
So this takes place before the. No, that doesn't make sense.
No, so it's basically Marvel
It's
has
like
this
a
thing called
retelling.
yeah, man, it's not a retelling. It's the Tom Holland
It's just
storyline
another.
that intertwines with all the other
Yeah.
Spider-Mans. Like going in, you know what you're gonna see. You know what you're gonna see going in. You have an idea what you're gonna see, and that is Willem Dafoe tearing shit up. And it was you knew it was coming, but the way that people reacted to it really, really, it pissed me off.
Why? I loved it. I think this has to do more with your what we talked about in the fight.
Because
But it depends on how the
no,
train. Like if it's like a
this isn't a
yay,
me
that's
thing.
fine. But if
It
I
was
don't know,
all yays in mine. Like literally no one talked during dialogue and then something nice would happen or whatever exciting and people would be like, "Whoa!" or "Ah!" or
All right.
clap and like it was
So,
nice.
so what you're trying to say is, if people feel a certain way during a movie, they are allowed to react however they feel.
No.
no.
That is exactly what you said, word for word,
No,
almost.
they're allowed to react with Frank literally said 30 times, "Did they talk over the dialogue?" Like, he's saying that's not allowed. They're allowed to cheer when the movie breaks for them to cheer.
Yeah, like, and I would
But
say a quick yay is fine. But if it goes,
Yeah.
if someone's yaying for more than like a second and a half, it's like it's time to shut the fuck up.
No, the one that I went to was all appropriate, and it was just like, "Yay!" And then you got this, like, feeling of the theater was full, and you got this feeling of, like, look at all of us collectively being excited about whatever it was.
It was like when Obama was elected.
Exactly, same vibes.
it was the same thing. Obama was in the movie, Frank. Spoiler alert. Obama showed up in Spider-Man. Obama was in the multiverse. It was
Oh boy,
Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Barack Obama versus
he's
Doc
Venom, right? He
Ock.
played Venom, Obama.
No, Tom,
Yeah.
I played fucking Venom, Frank.
Yeah.
I played
Frank
fucking
doesn't
Venom.
know.
Tom fucking Hardy in the flesh. So
Okay.
that's who played Venom. Anyway, I like when I do this because
Mhm.
it really pisses Katie off. It's very funny.
Well, no, it's just more like, you're not having a conversation, you're just performing. So then Frank and I are just watching you perform, and then when you're
It
done,
is.
we'll talk to you.
All right, I'm ready. I'm done. I am done. I'm done performing.
Okay.
Scene.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
Well,
ready. Do more. I'm ready.
you wanted to bring up this topic, and then you wanted to start talking about it as a normal person, and then you broke into your performance.
I
So
didn't know
now
how to
are you
talk about.
done
I didn't
talking about
listen.
it?
Here's a new rule for the fucking. Remember how we talk about new rules in our past
Yeah,
discussion? New rule.
sure.
I will always perform. I'm always performing. I'm always performing.
Well, when are
So
you performing? Whenever you're performing as Brian, let us know.
okay,
How about that?
Brian's back, and what I'm saying is,
Okay.
if I'm paying $20 to go to a movie theater to see a movie, okay, I want to enjoy the movie, and when there's people around me acting however they want, that
Okay.
hinders my experience of the movie.
What
Okay,
don't you like about it?
I don't like picking my seats. I don't like people around me. It's like everybody in the movie theater decided to eat M&Ms out of a box. Right? It was just right. It sounded like cucarachas in the goddamn movie theater. Right?
Because they were just what?
Wait,
They were loud during the
cucarachas?
movie?
Well, it's like it's one of those things you kind of like. I understand you have to deal with people having snacks, and that's fine. I get it, but when there's so many people, it's a constant nuisance, and I don't want to see a
That
movie
could
when
sound
I'm
like a bunch
around
of baby
people.
rattles in a movie theater.
Yeah, and I don't want to, and it's like I don't want to see that. That's why I like it when movies are available to stream, and I can just see it in my own house. But
Mhm.
something like this is like I'm in. If I want to see it, I am handcuffed to going. If I don't want it to get spoiled, you know what I'm saying? And even in the line, getting popcorn, the lady in front of me was going, I know what happens in the movie because I was on Facebook and I saw who died. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking
Yeah.
See,
kidding me?
it would be
I was
worth
on
mentioning,
Facebook
like
and you saw
saying
who
something
got.
and being like, "Why don't you shut the fuck up? You're in the
See,
movie."
that's annoying. We didn't
Yeah.
have any of that. We had just nice cheering.
But we've also I've noticed a pattern in myself that sometimes things happen and it builds up to a certain point. And even though people cheering, my reaction might not have been justified for what was going on with
Oh
everything
my
that has
God. You know
built
what,
up.
Brian? You are doing a great job of moving forward and not bringing up things from the past. You know, like the
Yeah.
past Patreon
Like, you're
fight that
not
we just
mentioning
had.
the last Spider-Man movie you went to see, or the last Transformers movie, or the last X-Men
I
movie.
know. I should only talk about the things I'm going to do in the future.
There you go.
Like that should be the rest. Like,
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
thanks very much. I fucking appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Um but yeah, no, I don't like that. And they
Okay.
and and one of the guys around me stunk like BO. These people stink.
Ugh.
Oh, you had
Yeah.
like a completely different experience than
Mm.
what I had.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad
why I
that
don't go to
you
the movies very much. All these
yeah,
reasons.
yeah. Did I tell you the Rogue One story? You know the Rogue One story. I wait till Star Wars Rogue One is the last movie in the movie theater. I wait for the last
Mm-hmm.
show of Rogue One, and I'm in the theater by myself. And some dude sat down next to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Next to me. Next to
That's
me. Not
weird.
a seat next to me, not in my row. Fucking next to me.
I would have
Next
expected him to take
to
his dick
me.
out.
That's
You
what
know?
I
Yeah, if
was ready for.
I went to the movies by myself when I was like 23 or 24 maybe. And I had just moved to Boston, so I was like, "Ah, I'll just go to a movie." And the place was empty except for one guy walked in and he was really creepy looking and he sat like right behind me like 2 rows back and it was just me and him and I was literally like I cannot enjoy this movie right now because
Yeah,
I
he's
just
probably whacking
Yeah, it
off
was
or
a
yeah,
little
I
bit.
something.
just
Yeah.
feel this creepy man behind me.
Yeah. So I
So you
just
were
don't like the
mad that
movie scene.
people
Yeah.
felt joy.
No, I'm mad that their joy uh took place
Yeah, it
in a
existed.
yeah. Not that they felt it, but that I had to hear about it, you know?
Yeah. So did you not make any sounds during the movie? Like you weren't excited about anything?
At one point I laughed so hard I got a cramp. And
And you felt like you weren't ruining everyone's time with your laughter.
you know what? I felt like I did, and I had to quickly quiet down because I was the only one laughing in the movie theater. I'm the
Oh, so
only one
you so
that
you
laughed.
went so far as you laughed
So
during like an
but here's what
obscure,
happened. I laughed, ha ha
inappropriate
ha.
position.
I went ha ha ha, and then I'm like, oh, sorry everybody, sorry I laughed at that, and I said sorry I laughed at
And
that.
that's the laugh you did, not the not that one.
Oh no, it was the one you know
Yeah,
what laugh it
exactly.
was. You know it's that big
Uh-huh.
Brian Bowden belly laugh, fucking chuckle. It was that
When
fucking
you're
chuckle.
retelling the story, you're like, I did my little haha. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Tee.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah,
was in
like
the
an Asian
theater
schoolgirl.
and I giggled a little bit. No,
Mm-hmm.
this was not a giggle. This was I got a fucking cramp. I got a cramp that I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
And
I've reacted the only time it's happened to me is I was at a bar once when Kimbo Slice had his first big fight in whatever MMA thing,
I
and
know
I
you
wanted him
had
to
that picture,
lose.
and I put that picture on the Club Fantasies Yelp page.
Yeah.
What?
You and
And
Kimbo Slice.
but we were watching him at a bar, and he lost his first like big fight, and I was like, good, because I didn't really like Kimbo, and I cheered, and then I looked around, and I was the only person at the bar cheering,
Oh
and then I was
no.
like, sorry everybody, sorry.
That's really
Yeah,
funny.
but why did you have to reel it in, Frank? You should have just let that
I was
joy
just afraid a
out.
bunch of guys were gonna beat me up or something.
Yeah, see, and I didn't want to get beat up by a bunch of people that thought they were Spider-Men.
Okay.
They're the most dangerous kind.
Yeah, definitely. Marvel
do you-
fans are known for their extreme strength.
They're powerful in numbers. They're powerful
Yeah.
in numbers,
Yeah.
and they all carry them dice around. Those 20Ds. They throw dice at you. They always
Yeah.
have
They're
dice
like
in the
they're like
pockets.
Green Goblin bombs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Green. That's exactly what they're like, Frank. My
Yeah.
bombs. But Willem Dafoe put out a great performance.
Yeah, he
That's
really
great.
did. I saw
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe in another movie too, called Nightmare Alley. He's been
I
busy.
remember Nightmare Alley.
Yeah. Nobody
movie.
cheered in that movie.
Did you see it in the theater?
I did.
That's the thing. I don't mind. Like, if I'm by myself in a movie theater, I like being an asshole. It's fun because there's nobody around me, and I know I can be an asshole.
But no one's being an asshole when they're just being like, woo, or clapping.
I think that's a fine line. Like, I could see myself getting pretty annoyed by people like wooing or yaying or clapping during a movie. It
I
depends
get
on how
annoyed
it
when
goes
people
down.
yell. Yeah, exactly. The way this was, it was truly written and directed to account for that.
Well, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like a surprise would be revealed, and then there was like 5 seconds of not much happening so that people could be clapping and you'd be fine.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But like, were there any like Brian? Was anybody doing like the thing where they'd be like, "Whoa, did you see that shit? Whoa, man!"
Oh,
and like they kind
yeah.
of comment
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
See that?
Oh, yeah.
Unacceptable.
Oh,
Commenting,
yeah. All
it
that.
can't be words. The closest thing to a word is a woo, and it's quick. A quick woo. You got a
I
quick
don't even
woo,
want
and then
a
shut
Yeah.
the
woo.
fuck
I
up.
want no woos. Shouldn't have a woo with the movie theater. No woos.
I'm okay with a
I
woo
could
if
go
it's
with no
timed
woos.
appropriately.
No, I don't like a woo. I don't like a woo.
No Asians. You don't want any Asians
No,
there.
don't want any. No,
You know
no
how
Asians.
Brian is.
No Asians, no woos.
Barely let me on.
Why? Like, what? Have there been any other movies where people have cheered? I got
Yeah,
shushed
when I
at
saw
fucking
this.
Transformers. I'm sorry to talk about a movie I went to in the past, but I got shushed at Transformers.
Oh my
being
God,
fucking
Brian, how do you have relationships with people?
Why
I
did you
don't.
get shushed?
If you are dating someone and you get in a fight, how long until you stop bringing up that fight?
It's a while.
Where do you hide
You're
the
like-
notebook where you keep track of all the fights and mistakes?
You're like, the
all-
limit does not
it's-
exist.
Yeah, there's no limit. It's really bad, you
I
guys.
picture like
And-
when you this will make more sense if you listen to the Patreon, everybody. But I
Yeah.
picture Brian like if he's in a serious fight with like a girlfriend or a wife or whoever it might be, that at a certain point he'll be like, "Excuse me, Mrs. Smith," and he'll bring out like a court stenographer who's been hiding in the closet.
Absolutely.
And he'll be like, "Read back the transcript from September 24th, 1998, please."
He opens the closet. He opens the closet door where he's like carved out events. Like he's like, she's like, yeah, she's like, I've never left my dirty dishes out. And he's like, actually, April 28th, 1998, you left 2 spoons in the sink after you told me it was done. And then in July 15th of 2003, you left 2 dirty glasses on the counter.
And I will say this.
What?
You're absolutely correct. On 100%, like you're 100%, like you are, like it is dangerous how fucking spot on you are. You are fucking dangerous. And I will say that there are things in the Patreon that people are gonna hear about, and I'm gonna rethink moving forward. And this is going to be a tough one to move forward to work on. But I will
For
try
yourself?
to work on yes, for me. And you're right.
I have a tendency to do something sort of similar, at not so much like keeping a list of past things, but Kirsten and I have talked about this a lot because I've caused fights that weren't necessary. Where, like something will happen and it could be something totally stupid, and for whatever reason it like annoys me, and then I forget about it, and then a week later something else, and it's along the same lines, right? And then after like a few months, it gets to a point where it's like this like ball of frustration in my head, and then I'm like, we need to have a conversation, and then we sit down and talk, and it's like I'm like dumping shit onto Kirsten. That's not a big deal, but she's like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you just mention this 2 months ago and it would have been an issue? And I was like, because I didn't know I was mad at that point, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
I like bottle it up, and I don't think to
relate
communicate.
to that.
Do you yell? Like, Frank, do you yell when you fight?
Not when I'm sober.
Yeah.
Like the worst fights, like the really serious fights we've had have only been when I was drinking.
Yeah. Brian,
Like,
you probably yell, I would guess, right?
I don't, you know what? I used to yell.
Do you get defensive?
No, I don't get defensive. No. Because it's not a yell. I used to yell. I get very direct. It's not a yell, but it's a more direct
like
way
pointed.
Like
Yeah,
a
like I don't
tonality
do
that
this.
could be,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like yeah. It's not a yell, but the tone changes. But it's not a
Yeah.
yell. I used to yell, and that's something that I've worked on changing. The
Yeah.
Because that used to be a reaction. The reaction was to yell, and
Yeah.
I realized that was a big problem. So I've changed that a lot. So I don't yell, but at one point I may get to a point where I get loud and more like the tone changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have a tone change.
You know.
Do you tell Kirsten how she should feel, Frank?
Sometimes. It usually goes really well.
I'm sure she's probably like, "Oh my god, thank you for clearing that up for me."
She's actually really good about like being like
De-escalating.
de-escalating and being like, "Hey, we need to use I feel language." And I'll be
Yeah.
like, "Okay." And in the moment I'll be like, "This is so childish and stupid." And then 10 minutes later I'm like, "All right, yeah, that probably was a pretty good idea." Cuz it
Yeah.
does make a difference to be like, "I feel blah blah blah," as
Yeah.
opposed to "You did blah blah blah," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went to couples therapy and it was interesting. Like the lady ended up like teaching us how to break up nicely, but it was like
Sounds like a great therapist.
it was
Yeah.
well, it was that was a funny we went to like two. So we went to one for a while, and then when we were gonna break up, my ex was like, "Well, you should be willing to try therapy one more time." And I was like, "Whatever, fine." And she's like, "And it's a therapist that I'm gonna choose." And I was like, "Okay, fine."
What does that mean? Like she'll brainwash you or whatever to not
That's
leave?
literally I mean, this lady was so bananas that we like at the time, I think she's better now or whatever, but like when we were breaking up at one point, I was like, "Oh my god, I have a terrible headache." And she was like, truthfully, she said, "Do you think you have like a brain tumor and that's why you want to break up?" I
The
was like,
therapist?
No, my ex.
Oh,
No, the therapist
Jesus.
was great. She was like, "I'm gonna choose the therapist," and I was like, "Okay,
She
fine."
thought you wanted to break up for the same reason that clock tower shooter guy shot all the kids at the college.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
she was like, "Same idea." She was like, "Only an insane person would break up with me."
With my first marriage, after I was like, I don't want to be married to you anymore, I felt like bad. So I'm like, all right, I owe it to her to like go to a couples therapy thing.
Yeah.
But we went one time and the guy broke up with us because he was like, how do you feel? How do you feel? And then he was like, so I can only help a couple if they want to stay together. And he was like, do you want to stay with Frank? And she was like, yeah. And he goes, do you want to stay with her? And I said, no. Then he
Yeah.
goes, I can't help you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
wow.
same vibes. My lady was like she the therapist that we went to one time, I was kinda like, "Wow, like, maybe I'll go see her all the time," but she, like, only does couples. So, my ex was like, "I'm gonna choose someone," and I was like, "Okay, fine." So, we walk in and the lady said the same thing, and I was like, "I just feel like this is beyond repair," and she was like, "Well, there's really only like 3 reasons couples can fail. Like or there's like 3 things couples can't move past." And she's like, "For some, it's infidelity." And she's like, a difference of like life goals. Like if one person wants to live in the city and the other person needs to live in the country, there's a chance that that's like an insurmountable challenge for them. And then the third one was like religious differences. And she was like, "So as long as you guys haven't had any of those, you should be fine." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So we start talking and
I'm a
literally by the
city
end
mouse.
yeah, exactly. Like by the end of the hour, she was like, "Okay, so I could continue to see you guys as you work through this breakup." Like she was
That's kind
she,
of
Yeah,
funny.
wow.
within 1 hour, she was just like, "No." And my ex like was not happy because she said to her, which we mentioned in the Patreon episode, she turned to my ex and she goes, "Now, do you understand that there is something called reality and perceived reality, and they are not the same?"
Wow.
Yeah, and my ex was like, "What?" And then I just sat there like like a little monster.
I understand why that happens to couples, but it is weird to me to be like, you don't want to be with me anymore. Let me find someone to convince you that you do. You know, I get why people might do that. Why I might even be inclined to. You know what I mean?
Me too. But
it's like,
from the outside, you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
that's also where you're like, and I agree with you. Where like I could see where I would want to do that. You know what I mean?
Of
Or
course,
I would be like, oh, maybe I can just make this person see things this way. And then you do step away from that and you're like, what the fuck? Like I need to only want to be with people that want me. Like,
yeah, that's an important
it's so
part.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't relate to any of what you guys are talking about.
Why?
Because I've never been to like couples counseling, and all my breakups have been pretty smooth. Although,
must be nice.
Like my last ex though used to say that perception is reality, and then I had like this perceived notion that she was cheating on me, and then I kind of figured out she was. So other than that,
that was just nothing. Reality is reality.
What kind of crazy person says perception is reality in the context of a relationship?
You've met her.
Psychopath.
Yeah.
But that's just you being
that was just me telling a joke.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But I don't know. It's also a weird thing to say.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, moving forward, 2022, I'm working on me. I'm working on my reaction to things, and I'm working about how I emotionally deal with them. Frank, 2022, what are you going to be working on?
I'm going to try to exercise more.
Okay. Anything else with that?
Nope. I'm going to keep doing everything like I have been.
I feel maybe not everything like you have been.
I'll try to. I'll be more conscientious about matters related to the Wicked Funny podcast.
Okay.
All right, that's good. I like that. Ooh, good Patreon on Thursday. Katie, what do you got?
It's a wild one. Okay, so we're talking about resolutions.
Yeah, we're talking about 2022 resolutions. You said resolutions, and I'm working on myself. Frank's going to be more conscientious about.
Like when you say working on yourself, what do you mean? Because I think it's better to make resolutions that are like actual behavior.
Yeah, like
what am I gonna do?
She asked me a question and then fucking started talking.
Because then I realized you did answer it because you did. Well, go ahead. Say it again.
No, I'm not going to say it again because I already answered that question.
Katie's going to work on a third dining room in 2022.
I'm going to try to not interrupt.
Yeah, you should try not to interrupt.
Can she do it? She can't. No, but I think actually, I'm going to try to work out regularly. And I think my goal is to try to build the Patreon. And then I don't know. I guess I have to think about it. I did get on my ADHD medication, so I want to have some actual goals that I haven't been able to do because I get distracted or lack focus or you know what I mean, that kind of shit.
You're taking the medicine though, and that's going to help you out, right? Has that helped you out?
Definitely. The first day I took it, I taught myself a new film editing software to make our latest YouTube video. And I was able to teach it to myself because I could actually make it through 5-minute YouTube videos on how to do what I wanted to do.
Isn't that cool?
You know what I mean? And like, yeah. And the week before, the YouTube video is like not perfect because I noticed a mistake after, and I was like, "What the like?" I thought I had done it right, and I was like, "Wah!" Like I was just like, I could not. Like it was, I had the same video as material for me, but I couldn't like watch it all the way through. I don't know if that makes sense, but I would like start watching it and then I'd be like, all right, this must be how I do whatever it is. And then on the medicine, I was like, why don't you watch the whole 5-minute video? And then
the procedural things get easier.
Yeah.
Can you see where I cried having that feeling, Katie? Can you see where I cried being able to have a thought for the first time when I took my Adderall?
Yeah, because I felt euphoric. Like I wrote like it's not a huge amount, but I wrote like 3-4 minutes of new jokes about it. And normally if I do any kind of a set, I have to bring a list on stage of trigger words because my mind goes so wild, it won't even remember sets that I already know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like sometimes I don't even look at the list, but I'm like, I need to have it there in case. Like I have this anxiety of because my brain is going so crazy. And I went on Sunday and did like a comedy contest with that new material, and I ended up winning, and like the set was fun, and I was like, oh my god, I actually remembered brand new jokes that I just wrote in the car, like that kind of thing.
That's great.
So yeah, I was like, oh my god, my brain.
Imagine if you had it like since you're in high school.
I know. I did think about that.
Yeah, you might have like a PhD.
I know that it's wintertime right now, right? But if you picture the chorus of Sheryl Crow, "Soak Up the Sun,"
yeah,
isn't that what it feels like to be on these meds?
For our listeners, please know,
yes.
it feels nothing like that.
It feels exactly like that. You just want to soak up the sun, and you want to.
I did feel. You know what? I ran into a comic who like uses it recreationally, and I walk in and I go, hey, I'm on Ritalin for the first time, and he goes, he's like fuck yeah, and he goes, do you feel like high and invincible and like all electric and all this? And I was like, no, I literally just feel nothing. Like I feel perfectly normal. And he goes,
because you actually need it.
Yeah, and he goes, that means. Yeah, he goes, that means your brain's fucked up. And I was like, I know.
Yeah. Well, I've found since I've stopped drinking over the past month, I didn't realize how much the booze was muting the effects of my Adderall. So it feels like
you're
now,
back on like a new.
It
you're
feels
like
like
when
I'm
you
taking
just started,
like double or triple.
That's crazy.
So, you know what I love?
Yeah.
You know what I love? I love how as Frank gets more sober, like all the things that we have told him are coming through.
He's realizing,
and he's realizing it, but he's telling us like we don't fucking know.
Yeah, like we didn't tell him.
Like Frank, Frank, if you quit drinking the Adderall, no, I won't. I just need to drink because of this. And now you're like, now that I stopped drinking, the Adderall is like fucking working. Huh? It's like, oh no shit, no shit.
Carson just yelled, it's almost as if the booze was the problem.
Yeah, right. It's almost
exactly.
It's almost as if the booze was
crazy.
the problem.
Yeah, she says the same thing all the time.
The question everybody has for you though is, how are you going to open up your set without using without converting to alcohol?
I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, I converted to sobriety is going to get such a cheap pop. You got to do that.
You'll get a lot of clap.
I can't do that.
You'll get a lot of clap with it.
You got to, and then
it's
double
so
down
cringy.
with giving it up for the troops, Frank. Say you're sober, then give it up for the troops. That'd be fucking great. That'd be fucking wonderful.
And then I'll be like, so who's drinking tonight? Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can go right into that thing you call a set. It'd be great.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And if anybody wants to see Frank live, we're doing a couple live shows coming up. We got January 22nd. We're going to be at the Elbow Room in Hartford. So January 22nd, Elbow Room, Hartford.
West Hartford, but yes.
West Hartford. And
come find out what Frank's new opener is.
Yeah,
Why don't sign up for the Patreon and you can enter a joke that Frank has to choose from as an opener.
Yeah.
I'm sending a message to all the current Patreon members. I'm gonna make a note right now to myself because my meds have worn off. That
Katie, I'm gonna send them... idea. I have a better idea.
What?
Can we just have whoever's on the Patreon can send in a joke? Right, and we just put all the jokes in a fucking bucket, and Frank has to pick one blind joke out of
No, that's what I'm saying. Like a street joke or something. Like that's not going to work out. I'm not going to go up there and be like, so a guy walks into a bar. You know what I mean?
Why? I think you could. Like, it's funny.
Yeah, it's got to be a joke. Whatever the fuck they want.
We're only going to write the jokes. Can't be like racist or like you can't be like I raped a baby today. You know what I mean?
Well, that's Frank's other joke. Frank already has a raped a baby joke.
Well, that's why we can't have it in there. So it's got to be something that's not already in a set.
I can't step on my own toes.
Yeah, it can't be anything that's already in a set.
You guys, you have like 3 more weeks. Sign up for the Patreon. Come out to the show, and I am going to send a message to the Patreon subs that you can write Frank's first joke.
Yeah.
Try to make it an original one if you're going to do that.
Yeah, and all the jokes that come in, and it'd be funny if they're not even just Like if they're just terrible jokes.
I hope they are.
like a joke a 4-year-old, like not even a 4, like a 7-year-old would tell. Like hey,
I love.
what did the chicken say when he crossed the road? He said, "I ain't gonna get my tracks wet." Right? Like just dumb.
Okay.
Like that is a terrible.
We
awful
knew what a
don't
bad
get- I
joke
don't
was.
get that
Yeah,
joke. I don't
I
get
think
it.
that's why
I
he's
want
saying
terrible,
it's bad. I don't know.
terrible fucking jokes. But all the jokes, can we keep the jokes in the bucket for the show? April.
We'll
24th?
do it throughout the show.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it throughout the show. That's beautiful. And then
Yeah.
and then we'll do it at our live show, April 24th at Southern Swells Brewery in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
Florida. So,
But I do want to note that I like that Frank's like, yeah, I'll get my material from the Patreon subscribers. He's like, could you guys please write me an original joke? Like,
Yeah, well, I don't want to do like a street joke people have
write
heard,
Frank
you
an
know?
original joke.
If I'm going to rattle off something sent in, I don't want people in the audience who have already heard it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, an opener. An opener would be good. That'd be
So that means quick, not like a story.
Why don't
Oh,
you
God,
coach
Frank.
the listeners real quick on how to write a good opener?
Yeah, tell us, Frank. How do you write
I would
a good
prefer
joke?
something that could, 1 to 2 sentences done.
You know,
Okay.
Something quick.
something quick.
Something quick.
Think of it like a song, everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Bling, 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 bling. Right? You have a setup, and now you have a punchline. Here is your setup. Here is your punchline. This is the joke. Here is the punchline.
I like to think of it as create tension, release the tension.
Create the tension, release the tension, right? You create the tension with the setup, right? And the setup has a certain flow, and the punchline has a certain flow, and that's what makes people laugh at the show.
Just think of every joke you've ever heard in your whole life that's short.
What
That's
we're saying,
structure.
what we're saying, guys, is just write Frank a good joke, all right? He doesn't want your garbage jokes.
Yeah. I want your A game, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bring your A game, everybody.
Yeah.
Fuck it, hey. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm like.
So as we close out, what was your favorite part of the year? Jesus.
The favorite part of my year, this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come back to me. come back to me. You know what? Come back to me.
Okay. Jesus. Frank, how about you?
Come back to me also, please.
Oh my
Favorite part of
God.
the year. Brian, stop bringing up the past, Brian. Brian, what was your favorite part of the year? My favorite...
Brian, how do you manage a relationship?
Because I get confused over shit like this. Shit like this, straight up.
Getting married was my favorite part of the year.
Congratulations, Frank. Good job. Yeah, Frank got married. His Mexican wife's in the background with no fucking pants on, telling him, "Hey, why don't you mention the fucking wedding at the Comedy Connection we were at?" And fucking Frank decides, maybe I'll mention that. But
you weren't even there.
I didn't go. I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't go to that or the fucking Christmas party on December 14th. I don't know.
That's our Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really do get confused. Like why? Like I don't understand why
on
sometimes.
The spectrum?
I might be, because I don't understand, and I'm being legit 100%.
No, I know you are. As I'm asking, like you can't
really
tell the context of
legit. And maybe this is why I keep bringing it up, because I don't understand why if I bring up certain things in the past, it's okay, but not okay to bring up other things in the past that are bothering me in a moment. You know, like that's what I.
But so you don't.
It's because they may or may not be related to the current situation.
But also, you don't understand why reminiscing about a positive memory. You don't understand how that is different from bringing up something that someone did wrong.
No, I understand it, but in the umbrella of it, it's still like, to me, looking in the past and being able to differentiate when it's and even when it comes to other things, like when it's okay to look in the past when referring to something else and when it's not. And I might have a problem with
the first thing you should ask yourself is, am I in the middle of a conflict?
Right now, this second, yes, and that's not knowing when to go in the bathroom. That's complicated.
I think an example would be if the thing from the past. It doesn't matter with positive things because there's no harm that can be done. With
that's what I'm saying.
With negative things, you could be bringing something up that has nothing to do with what's currently going on, and it's just adding to the bullshit and making it worse when it's really not relevant and it's not helping. So like an example would be like if a year from now I'm like, you know what, I think I can have a drink again. And then within a little while, I start talking and acting the same way I did a few months ago. That would be a perfectly valid thing to be like, hey, you sound and act and are talking exactly like you did a year ago.
And we're worried about you.
Yeah, and that's not good, Whereas it's like, if it was something like, I don't know, I can't think of another example, but there could be a situation where something in the past just isn't related at all to the current situation, in which case it wouldn't be relevant.
Okay. All right.
Like if Frank started drinking again and then we were like, you did have that typo in January.
Yeah.
That relevant. Has nothing to do with what's going on
there you go. That's a good example.
I think
and then me asking you what is your favorite memory of the year, you can't differentiate between that and bringing up something nasty from a year ago.
I can't.
I can't. There's no way.
I can't let it go. Like that's the thing. I can't just like.
What is going on in that brain?
A lot. And you can.
If someone asked you yesterday, what was your favorite part of the year? What would you have said?
What? No, my favorite part of the year. Matter of fact, I'll even go to say, this is probably the happiest moment of my life is when Trent and me were on the teacups at Walt Disney.
Okay, yeah,
that's awesome.
That's nice. I can't believe you brought it up because I thought we were done with that. But
I know, and I know how you hated talking about the fucking Disney trip, and I didn't want to bring it up again. Because whenever something gets brought up on a fucking episode, it ends up on Patreon. Like, I would hate to have to record another episode for the Patreon.
I know.
Katie banishes episodes to the Patreon account.
She does.
Wow.
Like a Roman emperor just puts her thumb down and then
it's exactly what happened with my dad's heart surgery and the fight.
Oh my! Because those were boring.
The fight was boring.
They were fine.
The fight was not boring.
You know what? Anyone that's a Patreon subscriber, please.
I'll tell you this: the fight was not boring, but for regular people to listen to it, like you need to know us, and everybody on Patreon knows us, knows this podcast. And if you like a good fight, ooh baby, the Patreon.
If you've ever thought about being a relationship counselor, you should watch or listen to this episode, or I guess just listen to it, the Patreon, and write into us and tell us what you think each of us could have done better, because we're totally open to constructive criticism, especially Brian, which you'll see on Thursday.
A lot happens, everybody.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah. Wait till you see the write-up for it. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said, Happy New Year, guys. Cheers to a good old 2022. And,
cheers.
And cheers to the future, right? Cheers to the future.
Yeah.
Cheers to us in the future.
All right.
Yeah, we did it, guys.
All right. And thank you all for listening for this past year and forevermore. And we will talk to you later.
We love you.
Katie, do the thing you do at the end.
Guys, follow us on social media at Wicked Funny Podcast. Tag us in your post, please, for the new year. Our resolution is to get more listeners, and you guys can help us by sharing the post because Frank is not sharing them, which we talked about in the Patreon episode. So
if you guys so hard,
if you guys could share on his behalf, that would be so great. And also, we do have 2 live shows. Saturday, January 22nd at the Elbow Room in West Hartford. If you are a Patreon subscriber, you can go for free. So you would get to listen to this fight coming up in 2 days, and you'd also get to go to the show for free. If you are not a Patreon member, tickets are $15? And we're going to do regular stand-up, and we're also going to do some bits from the podcast. We're going to read some creepy corners. We're going to read Patreon subscribers' jokes, which are going to be killer. And we also have some shows coming up in Jacksonville in April. Stay tuned for more details on that. We'll have the links to those on our website soon. You can get the links for the Elbow Room show on the 22nd right now at wickedfunnypodcast.com. And we will see you guys later. We love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.